Hey, what's going on, guys? So, with my job and the opportunities I'm given, once in a while I get to do a little bit of traveling. And, if you've been watching my channel for a while, you get to see that I get to check out some pretty cool local game stores to different towns. Well, very rarely does something like this kind of level of slip-up happen, but there's a new game store in my backyard that I totally missed. I got to check it out this last week, and man, talk about the hole in the wall. This place is like so cool. It's brand new. It's been open just a few months. It's in Pasadena, Maryland. It's called I Got Next. So I'm going to show you guys some of the footage I took from this place. And man, I was just stoked to find out that this brand new game store is right around the corner from me. So without further ado, let's check out I Got Next. So this is what you see from the outside. I Got Next. This place is really cool. Like I said, Pasadena, Maryland. It is a blink and you'll miss it place though. It's just in this nice little strip mall. And man, I probably drove past this place 100 times not knowing it was right there. Granted, they did just open just a few months ago, but my gosh, this store is very, very cool. And so let's go ahead and check out the inside. So when you immediately walk in, you're going to see this huge shelf of toys, and it's kind of like a mixture of new and old toys, and they actually have a bunch of toys all over the place, but this really caught my eye when you walk in, because it's right there front and center, and they actually, for such a small space, they did a lot with their space. But like I like to say, a lot of stores like this one included, real eclectic. They got a little bit of something for everybody. And I'll tell you, after rewatching this footage, something that didn't pop out to me when I was there, and now it's popping out to me looking at this, is the micro machines. Oh my god, I used to play with those all the time as a kid. It's cool to see stuff like that, because usually they just kind of stick with the pop culture kind of stuff, which they have a lot of here, don't get me wrong, but they got stuff like that for me, and that's very, very cool to see. But then over to the side, they kind of have this locked cabinet that has some more vintage toys. They got some neat stuff in here. Obviously a lot of Transformers, some really cool old Star Wars stuff, and a bunch of pops. They have a whole wall of pops, in fact. Some were in the case, some were not in the case, and I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know enough about pops to know why that is. I would assume the ones in the case are more valuable, but I'm a real novice when it comes to that. But like I said, all sorts of neat stuff like that original Millennium Falcon they had that I showed a second ago. They have all these really old vintage My Little Pony type things, if that's your style. It's just really neat to see all this stuff. A bunch of loose figures in new packaging, turtles, Transformers. You really can't go wrong here. If you are into collecting toys, they got you covered for sure. And of course, it's not going to be a video game / toy store without the video game / toys, right? So they have a whole thing of amiibos, and I was looking at this. These are some pretty rare amiibos. I have a very small collection of amiibos, but I do know that some of these are, quite hard to get. It has some loose figures here, including that Mega Man Battle Network figure, which is pretty cool. And then a whole lot of those a Disney Infinity type things. I think they run a pretty good deal on those things, how that game is kind of outdated, but still nice to see. And just because I got so much more footage, here's the other side of that huge rack of toys. They have a lot of Joes, a lot of Star Wars on this side. Plus, up top, more vintagey kind of cool Transformers, Batman, Star Wars, Aliens. Like I said, they have a little bit of everything here. So, and then their stock also cycles quite frequently. So it's definitely worth popping in time to time just to see if maybe they got something new that you'd be interested in. So they do have cards here, but there's a little bit of a caveat with that. They have loose cards. Once again, they have Magic and Pokemon, I think currently are the only two I noticed. I don't know enough about them to know, if the deals were good or if the selection was good. But they do not sell booster packs or full decks. Currently, they just sell loose cards. But hey, you might be able to find that hidden gem that you've been looking for. Once again, I don't know enough about it, but they definitely have some stuff. And what game store would be complete without video game plushies? It seems like every game store I've gone to has a wall of plushies, but this place also shares that same wall with accessories, and they have first and third party accessories. So if you need something a little cheaper just to get by, you can buy the third party stuff, or you can buy some legitimate stuff. And once again, there's stuff cycles out, so you'll never know what you'll find. So I thought this was neat. This is a kind of a case they had that had a whole bunch of manuals and some weird oddities, stuff for the Game Gear, some Neo Geo Pocket color games sealed. Man after my own heart, this place. But a bunch of weird kind of loose Atari stuff, some badges and some pins, just really neat stuff you don't see often. Then, of course, they have the case, and the case has, well, some of the rare games, right? So, one side had kind of newer retro, the other side had kind of older retro. So, you got your Xboxes, your GameCubes, your 360s, your PlayStations, but they also have a great selection of Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Sega, and they have some pretty decent stuff here. And they also have kind of like a varying level of quality, right? So they have disc only for some things, they have complete for some things. You just kind of have to see what they have, obviously at the time. I was very interested to see that they had a complete in box Hyperstone Heist. That's always cool. You don't see that too often. But yeah, I mean, a great variety, and this is a place that I'm definitely going to be visiting more often just to kind of see what they end up getting. And of course, like any game store, they have a large section of more common games, but you never want to skip over these because they don't have room in the case for everything, right? So sometimes you won't find, you're not going to find an Earthbound out here, but you're definitely going to find some good games. They have quite a variety here. Obviously, they have all the major consoles covered: Xbox, 360, GameCube, PlayStation, Wii, what have you. But, for such a small store, they have really found a great way to kind of organize and show off their games. Neat stuff here. They buy, they sell, they trade. Their prices are pretty nice from what I've seen, and they're definitely willing to work with you. So when you come in, don't just take the sticker price for face value. If you have something to trade, see if you can maybe work a deal, because that's the kind of guys these guys are, and yeah, it's always better to make a deal, in my opinion. The last thing I wanted to point out is the back of the store is kind of nifty. They have a little variety of arcade one-up machines, legitimate hardware, of course, and also kind of like MAME style, like they use the Pandora board arcade machines, and they're all free to play. So come on in and kind of play some games and hang out. I love it when shops do stuff like this. Something to kind of occupy your time if you're waiting for friends or just kind of taking a break. But they got some neat stuff, and it's definitely worth checking out. And hey, free to play arcade, man. I mean, hell, you can't go wrong with that, right? So that's the place. Like I said, cool people run the store. They got some neat stuff, and they have a bunch of weird, varied stuff. I mean, how often do you get to go into a place and they have complete in box Neo Geo Pocket Color games? I've been all over the country the last year, and this is the first time I've seen something like that. But hey, let me know what you guys think. If you're local to the Maryland area, specifically the Pasadena area, definitely check them out. I'm gonna put all their contact stuff down below. Hey, thanks guys over at the store for letting me film in your shop. I know sometimes it's not something that everyone wants to do, but they were so accommodating. Like I said, they're great people, great store, and really, if you have the opportunity, you have to go visit them. Hey, that's going to do it for us today, guys. Once again, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for subscribing. If you haven't, please do. It would be awesome. But as always, my friends, take it easy.